Hello and welcome to my channel. I am ZodiacBandit, and today I'm going to be talking about the Legend of Vox Machina animated series. I have no script, so I'm going to be very ranty, not ranty, because it's good. I'm not going to rant about it. I'm going to rave about it because I really liked it. Uh, First couple minutes of this is going to be just my overall opinions on it because I don't want to spoil anything, just in case no one has, or no one, just in case someone hasn't seen it yet. So, don't want to spoil too much. So, with that, the first three episodes are amazing. I enjoyed everything about it, with very, very small things that I noticed that I didn't necessarily, I didn't hate it. These small things, it's just a few things that I noticed that kind of, but overall, I loved it. I loved the animation, the art style, the voice acting was obviously superb. The story that we've seen so far is amazing. I love I love how each person is. They're very much their character. They haven't changed anything about their characters from the campaign to the show, and I love it. Minor things I don't think I need to worry about. They're skipping the first two arcs of the streamed game, and that's, in my opinion, that's the best decision they could make because of a certain red dragonborn that they need to kind of remove from the story. But I really like that. I thought, in my opinion, uh, and they've made it pretty clear about what arc is going to be the first arc of the or first season. So I don't think I'm that big of a deal. But if not big of a deal for me to say it anyway. The Briarwood Ark, in my opinion, is where campaign one hooks me. It's where I got really hooked into it. So for them to start there is excellent. Besides that, I'm not going to say anything else about the story. The only thing that bugged me about this, it was only in one episode, and it was like a second long, and I noticed it my first time watching. I've seen every episode twice now, and I noticed it my first time watching it, and it got worse than my second time. When they go to speak to I forget his name. I always do. Taldore. I think he's the emperor or the king. I forget. And they first meet him. There's a weird bit of animation where he goes from standing to what looks like in the same spot kneeling, and then he just slides back in all like the same frame, and it's really weird. And it's the only nitpick I have for the entire thing. It's the only weird bit of animation that I saw because it was a keyframe. They stuck on it, and it just went bang, 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 and he just awkwardly sat down into his throne. That was the only problem I have for anything. I loved every other bit. 99.999% of this thing I loved. That 0.001 was the only thing that I noticed that bothered me. Everything else I loved. So, again, animation was great, voice acting was great. If you paused it, and on Amazon Prime, it comes up and you get to see a bunch of the voice actors from the scene. There's a scene where they're talking to a group of kids, and the kids are Maximus, I think his name is Maximus, I forget. Maximus Regal, Sam's son, and Zoe O'Brien, Liam's daughter, and I really liked that. I thought that was really cool, and there's a bunch of small stuff like that. The voice acting is all perfect. It is a bit weird hearing characters that Matt voiced, not Matt, so a little odd, but I'm okay with that because Matt is Silas Briarwood, and that's perfect. That is perfect. It's so good. We knew he was going to be that because that's one of the things they said in like all the lead up, that he is going to be Silas because he has to be. Little disappointed he's not Sean Gilmore, but the person they have doing Sean Gilmore is fantastic. So yeah, that's all the stuff I can say without getting too spoilerific. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. I'm sure if you're a fan of Critical Role, you'll love it. Oh, one more thing before I go to the spoiler section. The 3D animation they used, in my opinion, is some of the best 3D to 2D animation I've seen. I really liked it. And I can't talk about any more of it until I get into spoiler territory. but it was really, really good. There were moments where I couldn't tell it was 3D mixing with 2D, and it was really good. I think, like, like in the Dragon Ball movies lately, like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super movies, they have 3D sections. These 3D sections put that to shame, in my opinion. Those look like Budokai fight scenes in those movies. This looked amazing, and I think it's the art style that really lends to it, to really, like, lending the 3D and the 2D together. Blending, not lending. Blending the 3D and the 2D together. It looked really good, looked really seamless, didn't look awkward. Usually they look clunky and chunky and weird and blocky, and no, this looked perfect. I really liked the integration of 3D in this, and yeah, now I'm getting into spoiler stuff. So, if you haven't seen it yet, click off the video here, and go watch it. It's gonna be, this show is awesome. So anyway, if that's where you're getting off, see ya. Go watch it, come back. I'll be waiting. But anyway, for those people who have seen it, fuck me, was that shit awesome. Brim Scythe is the first 2 episodes, and I've always wanted to see what that was like, and we do get to see it now, and it was sick. I was under the impression that the first 2 episodes were going to be something wholly unique, not something that happened pre-stream. I was under the impression it would be a totally new story that happened, like, in a place of a year, but I'm so glad it's Brim Scythe. Because you go into it knowing that the Briarwood Ark is episode 3. That's where that shit starts, technically the end of episode 2. But you knew that was going to happen. So there was nowhere for them to have the Brim Scythe fight in between that, unless they were just going to expect you to know about it. And I'm so glad they didn't do it. I don't know if I got misinformation somewhere that was the plan. They were going to do something wholly unique and not do a pre-stream story. But I am so glad they didn't Brim Scythe. He was awesome. The fight was sick. Both fights. Even the one where they lost in the first episode. It's still, they looked heroic fighting him or attempting to fight him. They didn't make the characters look bad by trying to be chicken shits or anything like that, which another show would have definitely done. No, these are a group of heroes looking to fight it. Like, even though that's a losing battle, Grog wants to fight, Pike wants to fight, Keyleth starts to want to fight, but realizes that it's not going well for them. Everyone wants to fight this thing and protect people, or just get money, but eventually it turns on them and they have to, like, hide and turn into chicken shits. I guess. They kind of still did. But it was still done really well to where it didn't make you hate the characters. Not that any of us would hate the characters, but if you didn't have anything else coming into this, they didn't do anything chicken shitty. They just did something realistic, and I like that. But again, Brim Scythe looks awesome. The 3D integration with the 2D animation is perfect. I don't think I saw a single janky moment in any of the Brim Scythe scenes. It was perfect. I don't know how else to put it. I think he's great. He looked amazing. All of the 3D stuff looked amazing. The city of Itmon looked amazing. The first fight scene in the bar, well, technically the second fight scene, because there's a slaughter at the beginning of the show. Oh, this show is violent. I should talk about that. This show is violent. I should have known that with the Invincible stuff that happened not too long ago. I didn't watch Invincible. It's not my cup of tea. But holy shit, is this show violent. And I liked it. I didn't, and at the top of the screen, I noticed it the second time. It's like violence, sexual nudity, whatever. And I didn't expect within the first, 5 to 10 minutes there just being some, I don't know what the race was. It was the pink girl at the beginning, but, Scanlan's just naked with the pink girl, and it's hilarious. I'm glad we're starting to get more and more, non-anime, non-Japanese shows that are adult. It's been happening over the last, 4 or 5 years, where we've been getting cartoons or animation that's adult. And I really appreciate that. And this hits perfectly on the nail for me for something I want that's adult. It's fantasy, so it's going to feel like that for me. But, The Witcher, Game of Thrones, and now that The Witcher season 2 is gone and the Game of Thrones is gone forever, unless they're doing spin-offs, I don't know. But Game of Thrones is gone, and that left a huge void. And then The Witcher filled it, but now The Witcher's kind of suspended right now. And this is filling that void, and I really appreciate that because it's very adult, but it's also animation, which I feel is sorely lacking adult animation right now. And again, didn't watch Invincible, so kind of my bad for missing adult animation. And I know there's a handful of other ones going around, but this is my adult animation, if that makes sense. So yeah, very, very violent, there's some crude moments, very, like, sexual jokes in there as well. It's funny, it's adult, and I really appreciate it. But I like how they start with them being losers. They're not necessarily, like, losers, but they're just down on their luck. They're down on their luck adventurers, because if they were losers, they wouldn't have been able to win that bar fight. Just because there's a perception of them as losers is enough for me to, like, look and be like, oh, so they're just doing small jobs and not really doing big things. And that's good. I like that. I thought it was very fun to be introduced to them as down on their luck and not be just instantly heroic. I'm a big fan of seeing growth in characters. So if we had seen them after having done a bunch of big things, it wouldn't have felt as good. So this being their first big thing, which I'm pretty sure is a little different from the actual campaign from pre-stream, which is good. Making this its own thing is good. So the first 2 episodes are about Brim Scythe. They have to figure out... Well, they look for him outside of Iman. And then the second one is they fight him in his horde, which they teleported into from Iman. So there was an episode where we were outside of Iman for a while, which was good. We got to see what the grander world would look like when they weren't in Iman. And then we got to see an Iman-centric episode where we got to see, like, different elevations of, like, the city, and we got to see Gilmore's friggin' shop, and I loved it. So many cool little things. There's Sprinkle in there. Tusk Love was right in your face, and I loved it. There's so many cool things, and I thought it was funny that there's a Dragonlance joke. At least I took it that way, because, like, the Dragonlance setting, and the first thing Gilmore offers them is a Dragonlance. It's great. I like how also the 2 people who went to Gilmore was Pike and Vax, because there was a pre-stream, there was, like, a session those 2 characters missed, like Ashley and Leah missed that session, so they got to do something on their own, and then that felt like this to me. Like, this felt like that to me. Like I said, no script, this is going to be very rambly. This was their kind of, we get to do our own thing, everyone else does their thing. I wish we got to see what, like, Vex, Keyleth, and Percy were doing at this time, because while that was also happening, Scanlan and Grog went off to actually find him, to find, his name is escaping me. Crap. The dude they were following, the dude they thought who was the dragon, or the ally of the dragon, they followed him into Krieger's place. Krieg's. Fuck. I'm losing my mind. They followed him into Krieg's place, and we saw what they did. I wish we got to see what Percy, Kiki, and Vex were doing in that time. Because they kind of just got shunted to the side and did nothing. I guess that is a little nitpick I have. But once they get into the Ice Cavern Horde, and they, like, we got to see that they don't really work together all that much in the first episode. So then in the second episode, we see it again. But this time, Vex is like, fuck this, we can't do this. We have to work together to kill this thing. So what do? Well, let's all fuck shit up together. And they do they do their thing, but together, They're actually comboing their stuff together. Percy shoots the ice, I forget if it's a stalactite or stalagmite, if it's from the ceiling. He shoots the ice and spikes through the wing, and Keyleth grabs the other wing, and they're able to keep him to the ground. It's really cool. I also really liked, to skip back a bit, when the fight starts and Krieg shows off that he's the dragon, and Grog is in the coins, and he just electrocutes the coins. Fucking awesome. As a DM, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going to make them fight a dragon horde, and I'm going to shock them with the coin. They're going to be in mountains of it, and they're going to get shocked. That shit's hilarious. It's giving me D&D ideas. But this fight is an even better display of the 3D to 2D animation kind of colliding, and it's friggin' awesome. all the spells they use throughout this first 3 episodes are sick. You can tell who's doing it. You can tell what the spell is if you're a fan of D&D. You can just see what everything is supposed to be. And the spells looked wholly unique to each character. And cool things like Vax's returning daggers were really cool. And seeing Keyleth using her vines a lot. Like, she just casually uses that stuff. It's kind of cool. She, like, grabs them through, like, in the bar scene when she's, like, vomiting. First of all, vomiting in that guy's mouth. Nasty. But she just grabs the dude with the vines. Like, it's second nature to her at this point. Which shows to me that this isn't their first kind of, it's not their first go-around, but it's not their first major go-around. They've been doing their shtick for a while. And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy everything they've done in this episode. Everything they did in these 3 episodes to show they have an understanding of their powers, who they are, and what they like to do. Because, like, Scanlan and Grog just stumble upon Fence. They just stumble upon him. He just walks past them, and Grog rolls a natural 20 to roll behind the cart to stay hidden. It was perfect. Like, that is so in character for those two to stumble across it. It's kind of like when Jester and Nott stumbled across shit in the second campaign. It is so in character for those two to be the ones to get the rest of the team to the proper spot. Because it's just funny. It fits them to a funny degree, and I enjoyed it. Everything was very character-driven. I don't think any like single character did anything too weird. Even when Keyleth was like shocked at the dragon, like, we're gonna die. It was perfect. I felt like that was something like Keyleth would do in the early portion of the adventure. Even toward the end, she did that kind of stuff. She was kind of taken aback, but she wouldn't be taken aback by that much toward the end. And now, if she were to show up in Campaign 3, she wouldn't be taken back at all, which is the growth of the character, and I really enjoy that. So, the fight was awesome. I thought Gilmore's little, like, when you meet at the Valley of the Two Mountains thing, which was just the neck, like the line of the neck. That was cool. That was a nice little hint. Because I'm pretty sure they show Brimscythe, like, shoot lightning directly at, like, a frontal view, like, 3 times. And each time they show that little Y thing on his neck. And if you don't see it the first time, once you go back to watch the episodes again, you will definitely see it again. And you'll be like, I know what that's going to be for. And it was really cool. So, I don't think they, like, did anything specifically different if Vax got a sneak attack on someone. I don't know if it just made it look like much more visceral or not. I mean, I guess that's kind of what it was when he, like, slid down Brimscythe's neck. It was very violent and very visceral. But they did a friggin' awesome job showing off Grog raging. That was something I needed so bad. And just everything everyone does, like, in the show is sick. They're, like, we get to see everything we want to see. Grog raging, Vax, using his teleporting knives and kind of being his loomy self until he's around people he likes, like Gilmore. Vex, being really intelligent and, like, kind of money grabbing. No Mercy Percy. Fuck me, episode 3, I haven't even talked about it yet. I mean, there's just so many good things. Scanlan trying to bone everything, funny. And Pike trying to be, like, the guiding light of the group. And Keyleth being reserved and not knowing who she is. Like, it was... Everything in this is perfect as far as characters go. Because I just finished watching Campaign 1 not long ago. Like, I caught up with Campaign 2, finished it. And then once Campaign 2 ended, I finished what I had left of Campaign 1. So those characters are super fresh in my mind. And to be able to go from that to this, I really appreciate seeing their beginnings again. Because the ending and the beginning are such a stark contrast to each other, and it's amazing. So I'm excited to see them go through the next handful of arcs, which gets me to episode 3. Like, sorry, let's start with the end of episode 2, when they show off Silas Briarwood fucking people up for the first time. That was awesome. I was like, that's super odd for a tree to be on the ground. Oh, this carriage is very ominous. This is sick. And then he steps out, and the guys are like, oh, I'm going to be all intimidating, and he just eviscerates them. And it was awesome. And Matt is perfect as Silas. He's so amazing. Like, he was intimidating in the campaign, and now he's intimidating here. and Delilah's amazing. I forget who voice acts her, but God, it's so perfect. They're so good. It's so amazing. Oh, this show is so good. Sorry, I had to just think about it for a second. So, episode 3, we get to see them in their keep. They're playing, was it ball tag or something? Which sets up a very sketchy joke later on. But yeah, like, Percy had his nightmares about him, seeing his family just before they die, and then them dying, and then we see Cassandra get shot in the back. Like, it's perfect. I keep saying the word perfect, but I can't get it out of my head how much I appreciate this show when I look at the campaign, and it's awesome. I didn't even mention, like, in Krieg's, like, vault, there was there's so many little things in every room, but the thing that I liked the most was the Chroma Conclave dragon carpet. That was sick, and I'm so glad they did something like that instead of doing something totally random for the first 2 episodes. Like I said at the beginning, Brimscythe being the first villain was brilliant because now they can set up the Chroma Conclave even better. So, I'll get back to the Briarwoods now. The Briarwoods, the 3rd episode is my favorite episode, I think, because it has a really good, like, group fight against 2 people, and I really enjoyed it. And there was a lot of smaller stuff, like a lot of small, like Percy sitting at the table with the Briarwoods is probably one of my favorite bits of animation, because I was watching him the second time through. I was watching him like the whole time. His eyes never left like that direction. They were always looking at those 2. And Talzin is such an amazing voice actor. They all are. But episode 3 really showed Talzin's chops to me as him voice acting. Just getting to sit in a booth and just yell liar at the 2 of them when they were like, oh, they fucking took all the money and left. Liar. He got, when he slammed the table and yelled liar, I legit got chills. I was like, damn, that is passionate Talzin. And it was awesome. I can't get over that the show is created by voice actors, and we get to see what voice actors will do when they have reins, and you can tell that they did as many takes as possibly could. They weren't constricted to time limits. I'm so glad they had all the time in the world to do this. And, it's just, I'm blown away by how good every line is. I don't think there's a single like terribly delivered line in the entire show. None. I don't think a single one was delivered bad, in my opinion, for the first 3 episodes so far, and I don't think there ever will be one. They probably worked their asses off to make sure everything sounded real and authentic and personal, and that slamming the desk and yelling liars is like, that is what really showed it to me, that is fucking real, and it was sick, and it was awesome, but anyway, like, even like the sound design when he like squeezes the wine glass super tight, and then like I think you can even like hear him like squeeze his hand like when he's like starts to bleed, and like you can hear like the glove kind of squish. Like it's just so many good little things in this that I love so much, and it's all something I appreciate as somebody who, for the last little bit in my life, I don't know why I do this, but I do. I tear apart movies. I watch movies, I tear them apart, because I've been like, I guess I'm a brief tangent. If you ever watch The Corridor Crew, they do like a bunch of cool VFX movie stuff and all that, and that got me going down like Foley and all that kind of stuff, and art design and everything like that. I'm a big fan of like movie making, and I love listening and learning about it all. So when I see like this show do a lot of good things with sound design and, like the melding of the 3D and the 2D, like I have to appreciate it and gush about it, because I've taken the time to look at this stuff a little bit. I'm not like an expert. I'm not even close to that. I'm just a fan of that kind of stuff. So I appreciate the shit out of this show because of that. And I'm going on way too many ranty tangents for this. Back to the story of this. I guess I don't need to talk about this story. I'm gonna gush. Fuck it. I liked the snake belt Simon That was awesome. Him like throwing that and Simon coming back. I didn't realize Simon had a eye patch in campaign. I didn't realize that at all. And one of the things that I completely neglected at the beginning of talking about episode 3 was when Percy sees them for the first time and he goes to reach for his gun. That is very telling of these characters. Like, they're not going to fucking ask questions first. None of these characters would. Because Vax, later in that same episode, when the Delilahs walk in, when the Briarwoods walk in, first reaction, reaches back for his knife. He's not going to sit there and fight. Or he's not going to sit there and talk. He's going to sit there and fight. And they both did it, and I really appreciated that. That was two little things that they didn't really need to show all that much, and they just did it. It was perfect. Like, bam. Oh, crap, my gun's not there. Oh, fuck, my knife's not there. It was perfect. God, I keep saying that. I apologize for gushing about this so much. I have to appreciate it. So then the fight breaks out where Vax goes through the window, and Silas just follows him down. He's like, nah, you ain't getting away from me. At first, when the eagle showed up, I was confused. I'm like, who the hell has an eagle? And then it transformed back into Keyleth as like she rolled away. I was like, oh, I'm dumb. I forgot she can do that. And that was awesome. That was like that. First of all, that roll was a nice bit of animation into Keyleth from the bird. And this fight's great. Craven Edge is fucking insane. I love it. It grows every time some blood gets on it. And Grog versus Silas was sick. Especially when Pike got involved and gave him like the light axe. It was really dope. I'm excited to see like the chain. I thought he had the chain coming into this, but like the chain that he attaches to it and like throws the axe. I'm excited to see that if they ever put that in. But when Grog and Silas start fighting with these two weapons that are like dealing serious damage, and Silas kind of gets put on the back foot, like I'm excited because now Silas knows how dangerous these guys are, or how dangerous they can be, and that leads into, once that spell drops, unfortunately for Grog, because first of all, Pike got skewered. That spell looked sick. Like, that looked awesome. She got skewered, and I think that's the symbol of Saren, right? Kind of gets attacked as well, and it kind of fucks everything up. Like, just insane. But the minute that light axe thing drops, Grog has like an opportunity to like ball tag him, and then just Silas just no sells it at all. Like, what the hell are you doing? And then just starts cutting him up again, and then flies over to Pike. And I seem to have forgotten the story of Campaign 1 because I was really scared for Pike for a couple of seconds, and then the vine thing came up, and Percy got all mad because they couldn't get to the Briarwoods, and then I also forgot that he shoots Desmond's hand off, and that was insane. First of all, the wide shot of Percy like standing over top of him as like Orthax. I think it's Orthax. The shadow demon inside the Percy's guns is an insane visual. It's so good. Percy is, if it's not Grog, who's my favorite character from Campaign 1, it's Percy. And I think I lean more toward Percy from Campaign 1 because No Mercy Percy is badass. So then after he shoots his hand off in the most vicious way possible, like, I don't think it's his whole hand's gone, but like most of his fingers are fucking gone. They didn't show it. They should have. I really wish they did, because this show's violent. They can do it. But him standing over top of him as King Teldore walks out and just like, you guys are getting arrested. So yeah, I forgot to even mention like Scanlan during all this. Like, Scanlan is off by himself while the rest of the group are fighting the Briarwoods. You've seen it, you know. I really enjoy... I hope Sam wrote every song. And if he did, give this man an Oscar, because goddamn, they were entertaining. And yeah, there's a bunch of little fun jokes throughout each of these episodes, but this video is 30 minutes long. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say. I enjoyed this. I hope you can tell I enjoyed this. I also didn't know until today that they were going to be uploading 3 videos a week, or at least it seems like it's going to be 3 videos a week. They're uploading 4, 5, and 6 this Friday, so I'm stupidly excited for that. And I'm probably going to make another one of these videos. But I just elected to push this one off to the Tuesday video. And I'm probably not going to do that now. Because I thought I was only going to make this one and then wait for it to end. But if they're going to release 3 episodes at a time, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make videos every week about it. So, yeah. I love this show. It's friggin' awesome. Can't wait for the rest of season 1. I'm super excited to eventually get to the Chroma Conclave. I'm super excited. Did they get enough money to get to Vecna? I feel like with the money they're going to make off this show, they can probably make more. So I can't wait to see Vecna. And who knows? Maybe we get to see the Mighty Nine. And, we have the whole Mighty Nine campaign to look at, not just, half of it because they played pre-stream for Vox Machina. So we get the whole campaign for Mighty Nine animated series, please. Because campaign 2 is my favorite. Full disclosure. I love that group of characters. Really fun. Really cool. Oh, I just thought about moments for like Scanlan that we might get to see animated. Like him falling to drug addiction and him leaving the group and coming back, and Terry and Darrington. Oh man. I've just made myself even more excited for this show. Yeah. I don't know. This show is amazing to me. I love it. Like I said, only true thing I didn't like was that couple of frames where Taldore took a weird seat. I hope I'm saying that is his name right, because I think he's Taldore, like something Taldore. But yeah, that 3 frames of him sitting down, or 1 frame or whatever, like super awkward to me, and that was the only thing that bothered me in the entirety of the 3 episodes. But that's it. Everything else was great. It's a 10 out of 10 in my book. This shit's awesome. Alright, I'll see you guys on Friday for the episode 12 recap. So, I'll see you guys then. Peace.